You're a living relic.
Thanks. I try.
The animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender was a big hit for Nickelodeon in the mid-2000s. A live-action series based on the animated classic is currently in production at Netflix. The show also spawned several comic book miniseries. While some of these comics feature new looks for the characters, others show how they matured after the 100 Years' War. Hey folks, and welcome to The Binger.
It's good to see you too!
In this video, we're going to look at the differences between how the characters in Avatar: The Last Airbender were shown in the comic books and their portrayals in the animated series. Warning, spoilers ahead. Considering that he's over a century old, Aang looks really young for his age.
Do I look like a 112-year-old man to you?
Of course, getting frozen in an iceberg for a few decades will do wonders toward maintaining a youthful appearance. In the TV series, Aang was a 12-year-old monk who would be destined to become the Avatar. The Avatar is the only person in the world who can control all four classical elements: air, water, earth, and fire. As the most powerful bender in the world, Aang carried a ton of responsibility for bringing balance to the elements. As an immature preteen, Aang chafed under that responsibility, but still came through for his friends when they needed him the most. He grew up a lot during the series, and that growth process would carry over into the comics. The comics showed how Aang progressed both physically and emotionally. The most obvious signs of that process became apparent as he grew into a tall, muscular, confident teen.
The mighty Katara.
Mighty Katara? I like that.
While Aang may be the last Airbender, many fans would argue that Katara was the heart and soul of the series. Her guidance helped Aang achieve his full potential as the Avatar. Her story also illustrated how a young teenage girl still grieving over the loss of her mother could take on a motherly role of her own. In the series, she wears her hair in loopies, a tradition among women in her Southern Water tribe. When she's in disguise, she'll wear her hair down to blend in. In some issues of the comics, she still wears her hair down, such as in The Rift and The Promise. In others, she'll wear her hair the traditional way, as she does when she visits her former home in North and South. Her adventures during the series run gave her a measure of confidence, both in her bending abilities and in her leadership skills. She learns the lesson that you can't go home again in North and South. She also finds out how tough she can be in Katara and the Pirate Silver.
What does the cabbage merchant use to fix his cabbages? A cabbage patch!
Another character who undergoes some substantial growth from the TV series to the comics is Katara's older brother Sokka. In the series, Sokka starts off as most 15-year-old boys do: loud, immature, combative, and protective of his little sister. He also deals with the added burdens of losing his mother in a Fire Nation attack and seeing his father go off to war. Unlike his sister, Sokka lacks the waterbending abilities found in his tribe. He compensates for his lack of bending talent by developing his weapons skills and strategic thinking. Sokka eventually becomes the master strategist behind the joint invasion of the Fire Nation during the solar eclipse in Season 3. In the comic miniseries North and South, Sokka shows even more depth as he and Katara return to their homeland. When faced with a dangerous prisoner exchange on the Bridge of No Return, Sokka makes a contingency plan. He also serves as the voice of reality for his sister. While Katara envisioned her former home as a peaceful place, Sokka reminds her that they were always—
Ow! What was that for?
That's how I show affection.
Toph Beifong is the mighty might who can move massive mountains. This slender earthbender has a strength that belies her size. As the smallest and youngest member of Team Avatar, she puts up a tough girl act for both friends and foes. Her mastery of earthbending at such a young age helped Aang achieve his goal of learning all four types of bending. She also proved that her tough talk wasn't just a front, as her skills gave the team a hidden edge while battling the baddies of the Fire Nation. She also developed the skills of metal bending, which helped her escape a metal cage in the Season 2 episode, The Guru. Not bad for a sheltered little rich girl who was born blind.
It looks just like him to me.
Thank you, I worked really—
After she helped Team Avatar defeat Fire Lord Ozai, Toph still had some growing up to do. Her time with Aang showed her that she could be a highly skilled teacher. In the comic book series The Promise, Toph founded her own metal bending academy. In The Rift, she would also reconcile with her father, from whom she ran away to join Team Avatar.
I need to capture the Avatar!
One of the characters that makes the biggest changes from the screen to the page is Zuko. In the series, he starts out as a wounded teen, both physically and emotionally. His look also evolves. In the beginning, he wears his hair in a traditional top knot. By the end of the series, he wears his hair short. He also experiences some real emotional growth. He begins as a young boy seeking love from his disapproving father. He ends the series as the new Fire Lord in a new post-war world. The comics continue this journey, as fans get to see Zuko as a kind and just ruler, rather than as a driven and ruthless hunter. The miniseries The Promise sees Zuko and Aang trying to achieve peace in this new world, but going about that goal in different ways. The book shows how much both Zuko and Aang live in the shadows of their predecessors. Aang tries to follow the path of Roku, the previous Avatar, while Zuko will do anything to avoid following in his father's footsteps.
You can run, but I'll catch you.
While some of the characters in the series rose to great success, others suffered tragic falls from grace. One of the most apparent examples of such a fall happens to be Azula, Zuko's ambitious sister.
You don't see the family resemblance?
Cold, cunning, and calculating, she seeks to stop Zuko and to capture the Avatar for herself. While most firebenders control a red-hot flame, Azula's flame burns an icy blue. She could also control lightning, a type of power known as the cold-blooded fire. The tight rein she placed on her emotions helped her gain these powers. That same emotional repression also brought about her downfall, as she lost control of her powers. After the war ended, she was committed to a mental health care facility. In the comic miniseries The Search, Zuko promises to release Azula if she will help him find their mother. She joins Zuko and Team Avatar on their quest, but she eventually acts on her own to search for answers. In those moments when she can cling to her sanity, she shows that she poses just as much of a danger to Zuko, Aang, and Team Avatar as ever.
I am a warrior. But I'm a girl, too.
One of the most remarkable aspects of the last Airbender series is how it gave its minor characters moments to shine. Suki grew up on Kyoshi Island, a small territory in the Earth Kingdom. At a young age, she started training to join the Kyoshi Warriors, the Earth Kingdom's all-female squad of royal bodyguards. When she and her fellow guards encountered Team Avatar, she made sure to put a certain sexist Southern Water Tribe member in his place. Eventually, she and Sokka would fall in love. She would help Sokka learn to respect women while he taught her how to open up her emotions. She even risked her life to save Sokka and Toph in the war's climactic battle. In the comic miniseries The Promise, she and the Kyoshi Warriors would become Zuko's personal guards. She would defend Zuko against members of the new Ozai Society, a group that sought to put Zuko's father back on the throne. Suki and Sokka had their own mini-adventure in the story Shells, when a trip to a seashell shop turns into a lesson for the store owner.
There really is no fathoming the depths of my hatred for this place.
One of the strengths of The Last Airbender is its wide array of strong female characters. Katara, Toph, Azula, and Suki show how diverse female characters can be, even in an action-based genre that typically targets boys. The character of Mai also stands as an example of a female character who doesn't need to live in the shadow of a male counterpart. For most of her young life, Mai chafed at the tight restrictions her parents placed on her due to her father's political career. She also bristled at the presence of Tom Tom, her baby brother. She would channel these repressed emotions into her marksmanship as she became an expert knife thrower. Mai would develop a friendship with Azula, as well as a crush on Zuko, which Azula would use to control her. Mai and Zuko would eventually act on their feelings for each other. In the comic miniseries Smoke and Shadow, Mai helped Zuko and Team Avatar stop her father from sparking a civil war. However, the relationship wouldn't last, as she would break things off when she learned that Zuko had kept a secret from her.
Could that possibly be you? Azula!
When you're one of a set of identical septuplets, how do you stand out? You run away and join the circus, of course. At least that's what Ty Lee did. The daughter of a Fire Nation nobleman, Ty Lee has 6 sisters: Ty Lin, Ty Lat, Ty Lao, Ty Lu, Ty Lum, and Tai Wu. Ty Lee attended the Royal Fire Academy for Girls, where she met Azula and Mai. She parlayed her talent for acrobatics into a role with the Fire Nation Circus, where she was a star performer. Azula tracked her down and bullied her into joining her and Mai on her hunt for Zuko and Iroh. When Azula tried to attack Mai, Ty Lee used her chi blocking skill to paralyze Azula and let Mai escape. After the 100-Year War, Ty Lee joined the Kyoshi Warriors, along with Suki. Her acrobatics and hand-to-hand combat skills helped her become a highly effective bodyguard. She helped stop a coup attempt in the comic book miniseries Smoke and Shadow and reunites with her siblings in the story Sisters.
I shall be reborn as the supreme ruler of the world.
Throughout the series, the overwhelming ambition of Fire Lord Ozai drove Team Avatar to the brink of defeat. His continuation of the 100-Year War almost brought the Fire Nation the complete victory he so desired. He almost conquered his enemies, defeated the Avatar, and took his place as ruler of the world. Almost. When Aang went into the Avatar state and robbed Ozai of his bending abilities, the would-be conqueror suffered a humiliating defeat. Despite his apparent loss and ongoing imprisonment, Ozai would continue to play a vital role in the lives of Team Avatar. In The Promise, Ozai still believes in his own divine right to rule, even while he sits in a prison cell without his bending abilities. He goads Zuko into defending the Fire Nation colonists in the Earth Kingdom city of Yu Dao, knowing that it could lead to another war. In Smoke and Shadow, Zuko's mother returns and confronts Ozai in prison, calling him a small man, trying with all your might to be big. As he orders her to grovel at his feet, she leaves him defeated, helpless, and alone.
I should count myself lucky.
So what do you think? Did we miss out on any huge differences between the animated show and the comics? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like this video, share it with your Avatar fan friends, and subscribe